Hello and welcome to the tutorial on robotic process automation using UiPath. In this session, we will try to work with an example where we will use an if statement for building a workflow that will tell the user whether he has passed the exam or no. So in this example, we are trying to get the marks of the user. So based on the marks, we will decide whether he has passed the exam or not. In this regard, we will be using an if activity which helps us in deciding whether the user has passed the exam or not. So let us go to our UiPath Studio and build the workflow. Okay. So if activity will work in this particular fashion. Initially, it will check for the condition. If the condition holds good or if the condition turns out to be true, then it will execute a particular set of statements. In case if the condition that we have specified turns out to be false, then a separate set of actions or the activities are going to be executed. So let us see how to do that in this example. Okay. So here we need to ask the user for the marks. So that's why initially we will try to use an input dialog box, or you can say input dialog activity. With this we will try to get the marks. Okay. I'll just edit this and say input dialog for marks, and let me give a title here. I'll say marks. Okay, and I'll give a label, say enter your marks. Okay, then let this be text box, and let us try to store the value that we receive from the user in one particular variable. So for that, I'll just press Ctrl+K here to create a variable, and let me create a variable as marks. Okay, so we have received the marks. Now the next task is to check whether it is indicating whether the user has passed the exam or no. So for this example, we will consider the condition to be like this. If the marks is greater than 50, then we can say that the user has passed the exam. Otherwise, we will say that the user has failed the exam. Okay. So in this regard, let us use this if activity. There is an activity called as if. Okay. So let me just drag and drop this if activity. Okay. So this is how the if activity looks like. Okay. So the first thing that we need to do here is we need to specify the condition. Okay. And once the condition holds good or turns out to be true, then this then part or then block gets executed, or the set of activities that we have in the then block will be executed, or else whatever is there in the else block will be executed. Okay. So let us write the condition marks. Okay. So marks is the variable that we have created earlier to store the marks that is inputted by the user. Okay. So if marks is, let's say, greater than 50. Okay. If this is the condition, then what we need to do? We need to indicate a message that the user has passed the exam. Okay. So for that, let me use message box activity. I'll just drag and drop this message box activity one in the then section, and let me also drag and drop the same activity in the else part as well. Okay. Now I have to indicate a message in the message box here. Okay. So here I'll say, hey, you have passed the exam. Okay. And in the else part, I just write another message, say sorry, you have failed. Okay, fine. So there is some error here. Okay, so it is giving an error here. So let us check what it is. Okay, so whatever the input that is given by the user here in the input dialog initially will be stored in the marks variable, right? So let us go to the variables panel and check what type of variable it is, right? So here it indicates the variable type is string, but we are expecting the user to input an integer number, right? So that's why we need to change the variable type here from string to integer. Okay, so we have changed it. Now the error has gone. Okay, the condition is going to be checked, and if it is true, this particular message box will be executed. Otherwise, the message box in the else part will be executed. Okay, so this is how the if activity can be used. Okay, so let us save this and run to see the output. So the execution has started. Now the bot will start running. Okay, so now it is asking you to input the marks. Okay, so let us input it as, let's say, 65. Say okay. Now it says, hey, you have passed the exam. Okay, it means it has executed the then part. Okay, so let us re-execute it and see the other part of the execution. Let's run it once again. Okay, so now it is again asking you to enter the marks. Let me just enter it as 35 and say okay. So now this time it says, sorry, you have failed. Okay, so this is how you can make use of the if activity to specify a condition, and based on the condition checking, it goes to the respective parts or blocks and then executes the respective set of statements. Thank you for watching.